Well, hello, Jacob. Dr. West, tell us a little bit about your story. How did you end up getting to Hardin-Simmons?
The way I got to Hardin-Simmons was coming to Super Summer, a camp that was put on by Texas Baptist. Super Summer was an awesome camp, wonderful time. Made great friends, met with the Lord, but also allowed me to get comfortable with being at Hardin-Simmons University. And so when I graduated, came time to make those decisions, Hardin-Simmons was at the top of the list.
That's great. Okay, so tell us a little bit more about your story, where you're from, and then we know how you got here. How have you come back to us?
Sure. So for the last 7 years, I've been serving as a pastor at First Baptist in Plainview, and heard about the opportunity to be a part of the faculty and administrative leadership here at Hardin-Simmons, and just grateful for how the committee met with me, encouraged me, and then invited me to come serve.
So tell us about your family.
Sure. My wife, Emily, and I met here at Hardin-Simmons my junior year, her sophomore year. I thought I was going to be single my whole life, but finally met her, and we dated for 3 years, and then married here on campus at the Logsdon Chapel. And so we have great ties to Hardin-Simmons and to our lives here as students. And we have 3 children, 8th grader Ellie, 6th grader Ryan, 3rd grader Natalie, and they keep our lives very entertaining and full of life.
Speaking of entertaining, I hear you're a basketball coach. You're an amazing basketball.
Well, we have 1 loss this year. It's the best record I've ever had, so I think I'm retiring.
Yes, you need to quit soon. Don't go any further.
Right, gonna play in the championship game this Thursday, and we think it'll be a packed house, about 25 people there to watch.
That's good. Congratulations. Well, I'm excited for you. You've got 3 degrees here. Mm-hmm. Why 3?
Well, the master's, the MDiv, was just a very natural next step. I graduated in 2004, started immediately with the MDiv, graduated in 2007, and had a few years off, working, serving First Baptist Stanford. It gave me the chance to focus on some issues in the church I really wanted to have time to dive into and explore and experiment with. The D-Men gave me that opportunity, and I was really pleased with the outcome.
What did you explore?
I explored how to transition a single ethnic congregation to a multi-ethnic church, and it was a blast. The relationships that were formed out of that continue to this day in just tremendous ways, and it helped our church take some steps and understanding that this is the kingdom vision, is to have a church that's like this. And so because of that experience in the D-Man, I'm thinking about that every day 10 years later.
That's good. Okay, so you're called to the ministry. You've been serving in the church. Mm-hmm. Tell me why.
Well, it starts back with just the influence of my family. They encouraged me to love the church at a very early age. My grandfather had me preaching my first sermon when I was 4 years old. I mean, it's just been a part of my life forever.
It's not always an easy job to care for the body of Christ. What keeps you filled and full so you can pour out onto your congregation?
Well, it just starts with a daily walk with the Lord. He's my strength. He's my light. The Lord puts the path in front of me that I'm supposed to walk, and a lot of people have tough jobs. I don't want to say mine's the toughest or someone else's is easier than my job. I just want to say I'm light in darkness. That's what the Lord has called us to be, and so I don't, I guess, spend a whole lot of time thinking about how tough it is, but seeing the opportunities that are out there, and hopefully the pastors, ministers that I get to train and encourage through this position will have that similar optimism and hope.
So this is a transition from church work to academia. What is it that you love about college kids or learning or lifelong learning?
With university students, it's just they're experiencing all of this for the first time. And so it's a blank slate that you get to ride on, maybe second or third. Their parents, their pastors have already written on that a little bit, but you're getting to add to that newness of what they're experiencing. When I was on campus the last time, I met a person who was giving their first sermon, and I remember what that was like. And my first sermon lasted 2 minutes. So I'm hoping to help these.
And they called you as pastor from then on out. Good for you.
Yeah. Well, that was 7th grade.
Okay.
But just to help these students with these new opportunities in life so that they go into it you're going to be a little scared to death, but hopefully equipped to have success.
That's good. Okay, so I've got one last question to ask you. Favorite vehicle, car experience? Tell them.
I was watching this sheriff show on television, and he had a Ford Bronco, and I thought that would be really cool to have a Ford Bronco. And I'd liked all these Facebook pages and all these things, but my wife has said no so often, I've deleted the Facebook pages. So, maybe one day I'll show up to campus in a Ford Bronco.
You know what? I look forward to that day. We'll go for a ride and we'll drive around town. Well, I appreciate you coming in and sharing your story, but also I appreciate the fact that we've got a program that you can pour into the students and love on them, and with the faculty and staff, I know that you're going to have a lot of folks that are going to be praying for you and supporting you, encouraging you. So I'm just glad you're coming. So thanks for taking the time today, but also for getting ready for the next race to run.
Yes, sir. We're thrilled. Happy to be at Hardin-Simmons.